Well, hi, everybody. I wanted just to talk to you today about what's behind me, this cross. You may have seen this cross before. Our cross is similar to it. I know I carry a cross around. Many of you have crosses that you have on necklaces as well. If you walk into a Christian church, more than likely they're going to have at least one cross somewhere in the church. And the one behind me, I'm going to just get out of the way, that is the cross behind the altar of the Platteville Methodist Church. And the Meade Methodist Church has a beautiful cross as well. You often see the smaller gold crosses on the altars. And there's just so many crosses you find in a church. You find pictures on the walls. You find crosses in stained glass everywhere. And the outside of the church, quite often, there's a cross or a cross on a steeple somewhere too. And this cross is put there for a reason. It's put there to remind us why we're here in the first place. All right? It's a reminder to us that this man named Jesus, he gave everything so that we could be here. He gave everything so that we would be forgiven. He gave everything that we might know salvation and have eternal life. And I look around me at social media, and I know I talk about this a lot, right? I just see how people treat each other, even when in the confines of the church itself. And I'm wondering, are we really seeing the cross for what it is? Or is this something that we're maybe taking for granted a lot? Jesus died on that cross so the bad things I do would be forgiven and washed away by his blood. In my mind, I see this as those big things, like when I lie to somebody, or when I do a falsehood, or when I don't help with somebody, or if I treat somebody with not respect, and if I take their dignity for granted, and if I just trounce on somebody with anger for no really good reason. And I think Jesus is there to say, you know what, Phil, I forgive you for what you did. But what this doesn't do, it doesn't give me permission to keep going out and doing the very same thing. And I think that's where pieces get lost. Well, Jesus died for us, we might think, so I can go out and do that again because he's going to forgive me again and again and again. And I think we're missing the point if that's how we think. Because Jesus came and he did these things and he died for us to give us the chance and the opportunity to not do it again. Because if we're looking at the world through the cross of Christ, when we go up to somebody and we're angry at them, if we're looking at them through the cross of Christ behind me, shouldn't we be a little bit less upset because of what Jesus did for us? So we wouldn't have to get angry, that we wouldn't have to give in to this temptation to be mad. I am seeing a lot of petty things, is what I call them. People yelling at each other for minor reasons. People throwing their hands in the air and yelling at people for just the little things. Frustration. Not understanding something. Thinking they understand something more than somebody else does. And we get this idea that we can belittle somebody else because we know better. But I think we as Christians, we're missing that cross again. See, as Christians, when you look at somebody, we should see them with respect and dignity the same way Jesus looks at you. And you mess up, and I mess up. And does Jesus condemn us and yell at us and call us names? No, he doesn't. And see, we are called to the same thing. We might disagree with people, and we will, but if we just jump on them, we're not looking at them through the cross of Jesus, are we? We're looking at them through our own eyes, our own human, fallible eyes. I'm seeing this a lot in the world. I'm seeing a lot in the church as well. We who call ourselves Christians, I'm sorry, we're being held to a higher standard. We really are. It's not okay to just jump on somebody like that. It's not okay to dismiss somebody like that because of color or, sexual orientation or gender or anything, right? It's not okay. because of what this stands for, this cross. It doesn't give us permission to just act like we want to. This has been in my heart for quite a while. But I think we need to really start looking at one another through the cross of Jesus. Because I think when we look at each other as fellow Christians, as fellow believers, as other children of God, I hope and I pray that we're going to be less apt to yell at them, to call them names, and to belittle them. To say, I know more than you do, you're just an idiot. And I hate to say that, but this is what I'm seeing. And I just feel like we really need to get back to what we're called to be. Followers of Christ, follower of Jesus' way, not our way. Followers of the way in peace, of hope, of love and compassion, not our way of anger and frustration. Yes, this is driving me literally crazy. I keep seeing this over and over and over in the church, and I don't really like what I see. I don't know if Jesus likes what he sees either. I can't think he does. But you and I can change that. We can start treating each other with the respect that Jesus treats us with. When we start looking at each other through the cross of Jesus Christ, we have to see each other in a different way. Because if I'm looking at you through the cross of Jesus, why in the world would I want to yell at you or belittle you or call you names? Well, I shouldn't. Because I'm trying to see you as Jesus sees you. An honorable, valuable, worthy child of God. At the end of the day, we're all in this together. We all need one another. So my word today is just, let's start looking at each other through this cross of Christ. Because when we don't, that's when things get messy. That's when it gets mixed up. That's when really things start falling apart. And I'm seeing it happen right now. Again, I'm passionate about this today. But we got to see each other through this cross. Otherwise, Jesus did what he did for no good reason. And I'm not willing to accept that. I know we're better. So let's start looking at each other through this cross of Christ with love and compassion, with these emotions of God, not with our little pettiness and our spiteful things, but to see each other as Jesus would truly see one another and treat each other correspondingly. Jesus didn't condemn people. He didn't yell at people. He loved them. And I believe we are being called to do the same thing. I know I've talked a lot today, but again, I'm passionate about this. I hope some part of this reaches your soul. And maybe you and I together can start looking at each other through the cross of Christ and really start becoming followers of the ways of Jesus Christ and not our own. All right, that's all I got today. I hope and I pray that you're doing well, and I hope and I pray that you can start looking at each other through this cross of Jesus. You take care now. Have a great and amazing day. Bye for now.